Hello, welcome to our masterclass on mindset. Again, this is going to be a recurring event. So if you missed this first one live, no worries. We're going to do it every second and fourth Wednesday of the month at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I appreciate you taking the time to join me and can't wait to get started. So, welcome. It is so great to have you, and such a privilege for me to have the opportunity to work with you and to share a little bit about what I do and give you some really hopefully helpful nuggets and tips, information on how to create a healthier life. So, in my program, there are 5 principles that will ignite radical change in your health and lifestyle when you apply them. And today I am thrilled to share with you one of those principles to support you in creating a sustainable life of health and wellness. How does that sound? I am so excited about this. So, I promise that I will give you everything I can in the next 45 minutes. And at the end of this program, many of you will want to go further. So I have a special gift for you that I will offer at the end of this masterclass. Who loves gifts? But you got to stick around. So, all right, let's get started. So, who am I? Why me? Well, my name is Jamie Duggan, and I have been in the health and wellness industry for about 10 years now. And I started out as a personal trainer when my oldest was a baby, and I really wanted to work with athletes. I thought that that would be really fun to kind of get to boss the super elite fit around. Well, long story short, that desire quickly faded when I discovered that I really loved making an impact in people's lives and changing their health from the bottom up. So I changed kind of my philosophy around training, my idea of what a trainer was, and I started to work with people one on one to help them create sustainable health, to really master functional health, functional training. And through this process, I have met many wonderful people. I've been so blessed to help hundreds of clients reach and sustain their health goals. And about 3 years ago, in the beginning of COVID, the pandemic, I was really at a low place in my own personal fitness. I had let life kind of get in the way. I had filled my schedule with many clients, and consequently, my fitness was taking a back seat. And at the time, as you know, we all remember, it was stressful, and I was doing things that weren't really supportive of my health. I was drinking more, I was exercising less, and I really wasn't being honest with who I am and what my days looked like. So I started to gain some weight. I began to blame hormones. Actually had a full hormone panel ran because my clothes were not fitting. And I I couldn't imagine that it was my lifestyle that was causing this, because I was doing all the right things. I was exercising, I was kind of watching what I ate, but again, I was drinking too much and maybe not being as diligent in the gym for sure, because I was more busy with clients. And then COVID hit and everything fell out from underneath. So I'm going to actually back it up a little bit. Before the pandemic, I was obsessed with the scale. I was on the scale all the time, daily, measuring my body fat, measuring my muscle, living my life truly through what the scale told me. If it told me that I was lighter than I had expected, then I gave myself a little bit more grace. If it was heavier, I punished myself. And I did this vicious cycle for a few years of just really beating myself up over, what exactly I was putting in my body, how much exercise I was doing or not doing. And I was constantly searching for the right solution and tracking my calories and trying different diets and trying different workouts. And mind you, I had been in the fitness industry for about 6 years at this time, and 6 or 7 years. And even as a professional, I was really struggling. And so when COVID hit, when the pandemic hit, everything fell out from under me, right? So I no longer had access to the body scan that would tell me my body fat percentage. I no longer had access to all the things at the gym. And I really had to pivot, like much of the world, and adjust. And one of the most beautiful things that the pandemic brought me was more time and a really hard look at myself and where I was. So after years of living my life by the scale, I didn't have the scale, and I decided that I was going to have a little experiment with myself. I was going to see what would happen if I didn't weigh myself, and instead of focusing on each and everything that I put in my body and beating myself up over workouts and trying to, live my life by the scale and constantly look for the next quick fix, what if I just focused on what I did on a day-to-day basis? And so that's what I did. I stopped worrying about where I was so much, and I started focusing on where I wanted to go and the habits that would produce that result. I knew I wanted to be confident in my skin again. I knew I wanted to be in better shape. I knew I wanted to feel better, sleep better. And so I decided that instead of focusing on how to get those quick fixes, I would start to focus on the daily tasks. Exercising and moving my body, not stressing out about exactly what type of exercise I was doing, but just focusing on moving my body. Focusing on fueling my body better, not eating based on calories, but eating based on what I knew was right. Lean protein and vegetables, and making conscious choices. I started improving my sleep and working on my sleep. I started managing my stress a little bit better. And slowly over time, I became the healthiest version of myself, the happiest version of myself. And the most beautiful thing is that I not only shed those unwanted pounds, but I have found stability in my health, in my wellness, in my body. I know how to take care of myself. I no longer beat myself up if I miss a workout, or if I eat a little bit more, or if anything doesn't go exactly how I planned, because I know that I have the secret sauce. Know what I'm going to do day in and day out to stay consistent. I know that going off plan is part of the plan. I know that some days are going to be better than others. And so today I am so excited to share with you one of the biggest needle drivers in how you can create that sustainable health for yourself. And I am so passionate about helping people create sustainable health, and really it all starts with your mindset. So, all right. So I want to share this story with you. I was having a conversation with a friend who is in finance, and he used to work on Wall Street. And we were having this discussion a couple of weeks ago, and he was sharing with me how, it's not about time in the market. It's not about timing the market, but it's really about time in the market. And how if you want to create wealth and sustainable wealth, then it's not about getting in and out when the market is high and low and riding the emotional wave, so to speak, or letting the emotions run you, but that in order to be successful financially through the stock market, you really have to have a long-term mindset. And you really have to understand that there's going to be highs and lows, but that when you stick it out over the long term, that you're going to increase your wealth over time. And he said, if you jump in and out, you're going to struggle. You're not going to be successful. It's going to be very, very hard. It's a long-term mindset. You must look at this as a 5-year, 10-year, 15, 20-year process. It's not a 6 months in and out, reacting situation. If you really want to be successful, you must adopt that long-term mindset. And he said, only when you commit to the long-term follow-through will you reap the benefits. Because, if you don't know what you're doing in the stock market and you jump in when it's low and you pull out when it's high and you try to get in here and there, you might have short-term wins, but overall, you're not going to be creating that wealth. You're not going to be creating the nest egg for your future, for your family. And it can be tempting to jump in and out depending on how you feel, but that's only going to cause you to feel frustrated and discouraged, and it ultimately will cost you time and money. And as we were having this conversation, I was like, yeah, I totally get that. That is exactly what it's like with health. People want to have this short-term mindset. They think that I'm going to lose 5 pounds to fit into this outfit for a wedding or an event, and so I'm going to crash diet, or I am going to try out this new type of gym because I'm not really getting the results doing the other thing that I'm doing, or I'm going to work on my sleep until I'm sleeping better, but then, I can't really follow through with that. And this is exactly what I was doing in my life when I was living my life by the scale. I was living day to day. I was in and out of the market. I was in and out of my health market. And I have seen this in countless people, and it is so disheartening to me because I want to just shake them and tell them, you cannot have this in and out mentality when it comes to health. You must have long-term vision. You must have long-term goals and have an infinite mindset so that you can create the health that is going to sustain you now, in 10 years from now, in 20 years from now. It's not about looking a certain way or being a certain size. Those might be certain, goals for some. But for the average person who just wants to improve their health, they must stop looking short term and start thinking long term. And it all starts with your mindset. It all starts with your mindset. Because if your mind isn't right, you're going to struggle. And when you can master your mindset for the long game, you're going to find success. You're going to be happier. You're going to enjoy the process. And you're going to be able to sustain your results once you achieve them. So let's talk about mindset. First of all, I just want you to take a moment and think about where your current mindset is. Where was your mindset when you came into this class today? What preconceived ideas did you come in here with? Did you think, ooh, she's going to tell me how to lose 10 pounds and it's going to be great? Where is your mindset? So with where your current mindset is, let's have a chat about what the best mindset for success, for long-term health is. As I've already touched on, we don't want to have short-sighted mindsets. We want to have long-term mindsets when it comes to creating sustainable health. And beyond a long-term mindset, you want to have a growth mindset. And a growth mindset is defined as believing that you can change, believing that where you are currently isn't where you are stuck. Having a growth mindset means that I believe I can be stronger tomorrow than I am today. It means that I believe that I have the power within me to change the trajectory of my health, my life. It means that I can create the life that I want. So again, I ask you, what mindset did you come in here with? And if your mindset was anything other than a growth or a long-term, then this is going to bless your life, because I promise you this is the secret sauce to creating sustainable health. So you must, the very first thing you must do is to create a mindset of long-term growth. You're going to set goals along the way. Those are going to be the stepping stones to your big goal. But those are just the mile markers. Your mindset is going to have goals that are finite. So you're going to have goals that you reach. So if you want to lose 100 pounds, that is a finite goal. And that can have a mindset around losing 100 pounds. But what happens? How do you lose that 100 pounds? You do so by making changes to your lifestyle, right? You do so by losing a pound at a time. You do so by making healthy choices for food. You do so by making exercise a priority. So while you have big picture growth mindset for losing weight, you also are going to adopt the infinite long-term mindset for losing that weight, right? Because you can't simply get to that place and then go backwards and do all the other things that you used to do and maintain that weight loss. It just doesn't work that way. So you must adopt a long-term vision that understands that what I'm doing to lose that weight, I'm going to continue to do. And now it may change. You may not have to be as strict. You may not have to be as rigid, but you're going to have to maintain those actions that got you where you're going, where you're headed. You're going to have to maintain those. And that's something that people really struggle to understand when it comes to a healthy lifestyle. They've got this diet mentality. We have what I like to call the microwave mentality when it comes to achieving your health. And that just does not work, because if it was quick, that means it's not sustainable. That doesn't mean that you can't have quick success. You absolutely can have quick success, but you must also adopt that long-term mindset, understanding that you're going to do these things. So there are a couple of different types of mindsets, and Carol Dweck, she talks about it in her book, Mindset, and she talks about growth versus fixed. So a growth mindset, like I said, it's believing that you have the ability within yourself to change. It's believing that your circumstances are not set in stone, that you can change. And conversely, a fixed mindset is believing that your current set of abilities, your current circumstances, those are set in stone. So when it comes to living a healthy lifestyle, it is essential that you understand you are not stuck. I don't care who you are, what your medical conditions, race, sex, socioeconomic, none of those things make your lifestyle fixed. There are always things you can do to improve your health. There are always things you can do to make an impact in a positive way towards your life. Always. So, what kind of mindset are you? Do you have a growth mindset? Or do you have a fixed mindset? And then there's long-term mindset. And I added this one in because I think it's extremely important when it comes to creating sustainable health. And a long-term mindset is that infinite game. Just like, what's his name? It'll come back to me. The Infinite Game. He, oh my gosh. Oh well. Anyway, having an infinite mindset in health is so important because you must understand that Simon Sinek, sorry, had to get that out there. Simon Sinek talks about the infinite game and how we in life, there's a lot of things that we're working on for the rest of our life. And that's okay. It's okay to do things for the rest of your life. When I moved my mindset from short-term success, short-term goals, lose 5 pounds, keep 5 pounds off, 5 pounds are off. Okay, I can go back to doing all these things. Work out, get really fit. Okay, never mind, I'm gonna stop. When I moved my mindset from that to the long term, to knowing that each and every action I took every single day was a vote for who I was gonna become and who I'm becoming, that's when things changed. So in your healthy lifestyle, you must adopt a growth mindset and a fixed mindset. Not a fixed mindset, a growth mindset and an infinite mindset. So I want to know, what do you think might be your biggest struggle when it comes to adopting a growth mindset? What do you think might hold you back from adopting that infinite mindset? Is it a fear of failure? Is it a lack of belief in yourself? Is it too scary to think about committing to something for ever and ever? I don't know, I'm not really sure about that. What might hold you back from creating a growth mindset, that infinite mindset? It is so important that you understand the gravity of having the proper mindset when it comes to your health. Because just like in the stock market, if you're reactive, if you're jumping in and out, if you're jumping in and out of a healthy lifestyle, you're losing out on long-term wealth. You're losing out on long-term health. You're losing out on long-term success. If you want long-term healthy lifestyle, if you want to put your best foot forward to lower your risk of diseases, cardiovascular, cancer, you must adopt this long-term mindset. What is it worth to you? Your health is worth a lot, because if we don't have our health, you have nothing. So having a long-term mindset, an infinite mindset, a growth mindset, it not only supports your continual growth and your long-term vision, but it also allows you to focus more on the day-to-day activities. You're not going to be jumping in and out and allowing distractions to keep you from your goals. You're going to be mastering that mundane in health and wellness. You're going to be working on fitness. You're going to be making all those votes towards who you want to become. It really allows you to kind of put blinders on and just focus on the task at hand, knowing that whether it's the best day you've had or a hard day you've had, tomorrow you get to try it again. You get to go again. It's a fresh start. You don't even have to wait till tomorrow. You can wait till you can make the next best choice at your next meal because you have a long-term mindset. You're not worried about the little hiccups and road bumps and speed bumps in your path because you know that they're going to be there. No, you are addicted to the mundane of health and wellness. It allows you to focus on the small tasks because small gets done. When it's too complicated, when it's too big, it's really hard to stick with it. What has your mindset toward a healthy lifestyle been up to this point? How has your mindset held you back? Do you struggle with past failures and have a fear of failing and a lack of belief in yourself? Have you had that microwave mindset, that microwave mentality? I want the quick fix. I'm not in this for the long haul, baby. I just want to look good in that dress. We've all been there. But you don't have to be there anymore. What limiting beliefs do you need to let go of to adopt that long-term mindset? What belief in yourself do you need to adopt to know that you can stick it out? And how? How would adopting the right mindset impact your life? Not only how, but who? Would it allow you to finally feel free from the diet culture? Would it allow you to finally feel free from guilt, from not being perfect? Because friends, perfect doesn't exist. How would adopting the right mindset impact your life? Who would it impact? Your kids? Your spouse? Your friends? What if you went to your best friend today and said, you know what, I'm never dieting again. You know what, I am finding a workout that I enjoy and I am sticking with it because, girl, I am moving forward. I have long-term vision. I'm not going to ride this roller coaster anymore. Would adopting the right mindset help your productivity? Would it allow you to go to the gym a little bit more freely? Make better choices? Make more conscious choices? So, what are the characteristics of a positive mindset? Because we've been talking about this growth mindset, this long-term mindset, but what exactly are the characteristics? Positive self-talk. Be kind to yourself. Give yourself grace. That's my number one thing. Give yourself grace because you're not always going to be rocking it. Just being real. You have tenacity. You know that no matter what comes your way, you're gonna push through. You have courage. You have courage to know that no matter what comes your way, you can overcome it. You are strong, you are capable, and you are worthy of that change. You're committed. Long-term mindset requires commitment. You are committed to seeing it through. Do you know that if you only committed to yourself, nothing else, I commit to being healthy, and you made micro adjustments in your day, your life would dramatically change. Micro adjustments. Reading a book instead of watching TV. Taking a walk instead of scrolling Instagram after dinner. Adding a vegetable to your life. Going to bed 10 minutes earlier. Micro adjustments. Over time will compound. So the characteristics. What characteristics do you need to adopt to fully embody that long-term mindset? What characteristics do you need to adopt today to develop a long-term mindset? How do you adopt the right mindset? This is great. You believe in yourself. You believe that you can do it. And you pick yourself up and you keep going. And you commit to the consistency, and you commit to the actions, and you commit to seeing it through, because you are worth all that work. You are worthy of health. You are worthy of confidence. You are worthy of being strong in the face of adversity. You can make the changes in your life that are necessary for you to create the healthy lifestyle that you deserve. You have the ability within you, no matter who you are, to make those changes. So adopting the right mindset, it's really all about belief. It's about practicing. It's about collecting small wins. It's about celebrating the minute changes that you're making to create that healthy lifestyle. That's how you adopt a long-term mindset. You keep going. As those wins start to build up, as you start to collect more and more wins, you begin to believe in yourself. You begin to understand, like, God, I can do this. Growth mindset happens one step at a time, one moment at a time, one win at a time. What can you do today, right now, to commit to making that change, to start collecting those beliefs, to start collecting those positive reinforcements? And if you struggle with this, think about a baby. What if they gave up learning to walk the first time they pulled themselves up? We'd all be crawling around on our knees, right? No, they keep going. They go, God, I can't do it. That's okay, I'm gonna try again. Albert Einstein, I never failed. I just found 1,001 ways that didn't work. Keep trying, keep going. That's how you adopt a growth mindset. Believe in yourself and never give up. I know you can do this. I know it is scary, but my friends, I know that you have the power within you to create the health and the lifestyle that you deserve, that you desire. You are worthy of it. So, where do we go from here? I'm going to introduce you to mindset journaling. Mindset journaling is something that I have all of my clients do when we start working together. And it's really simple. It's a really powerful practice. So what you're going to do is you're going to take some time and you're going to write about your ideal future self. What do I look like? What am I wearing? How is my energy? How are my relationships with others, with myself? How's my confidence? What does my day look like? What is important to you? I want you to identify 3 to 5 healthy traits from this journaling that you would like to have long term, and you need to schedule them in. Schedule the action in required to achieve that trait. And commit to doing it for 6 months with consistent action. Stop attaching unrealistic goals and start thinking long-term sustainable success. The clearer you get on where you are going, what your ideal self looks like, who you are becoming, the easier that mindset will be. You will be banging out your goals. You will know that this is where I want to be. This is where I'm going. This is who I need to become. And it all starts with your mindset. It all starts with the belief that you can do this. And you can do this. I know because I did it. And if I did it, you can do it. Be as specific as possible in this journaling. Dream big. Your healthiest self, your most ideal, beautiful self. What does that person look like? Start combing through it. And then start pulling out the things that maybe you need to implement. And there might be some things that you start to identify that aren't serving that future self. And you might start to remove them. Little by little, make more votes for the person that you want to become. Balance it out, but always make sure that you've got more votes for who you're becoming, because every single action you take is a vote, and it has no opinion. It's a vote either for supporting your goals or keeping you from achieving them. Every yes you say is an automatic no to something else. Every yes that you give into is an automatic no to something else, and vice versa. That is a powerful, powerful tool. No, I can do this, but it's going to have this consequence. I can have that, but it's going to have this consequence. And it's okay, but it's your choice. And remember, it's a long-term mindset. It's not a short-term. We're not talking about this week, next week. We're talking about 6 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the road. When people ask me what I'm training for, I tell them I'm training for life. I'm training to be 80. I'm not training to be the healthiest 37-year-old. I mean, that's happening, but that's not my ultimate goal. No, my ultimate goal is to be healthy for as long as I'm alive. That's what it takes to have an infinite mindset. So if I have a shitty day at working out, that's okay. I'm going to do better tomorrow. Old me, beat myself up over the crappy workout. New me, that's okay. Can't win them all. Learn to let it go. Learn that it's not about perfection, and just start doing. I promise you, the more you practice, the more belief you gain in yourself, the greater your mindset, the greater your confidence, and the greater your success. I hope that added some value to you. I hope you understood. Please, if there's any questions, let me know in the chat. You can message me. As I promised at the beginning of this masterclass, I would have a special gift for those of you who are ready to take action toward living a healthier life. And I have carved out some time for one-on-one strategy sessions this next week. And my strategy sessions are typically valued at $197, and I am offering them completely complimentary to support you to get clear on exactly where you are, where you would love to go, and support you with a strategy to bridge the gap. So I'm going to post the link below in the chat for my calendar, and you have until Sunday the 18th, Sunday, June 18th at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to get that scheduled for this next week for a full complimentary session with myself to help you set up a strategy to create that success because you deserve that success. And I believe in you, even if you don't believe in yourself yet. But you will, I promise. Because I know. All right. I'm going to leave you with this. As Jim Rohn says, remember that all success is based on long-term commitment, faith, discipline, attitude, and a few stepping stones along the way. Thank you for joining me. I hope this was valuable to you, and I cannot wait to connect with you to set up your strategy call. Have a beautiful day. Bye.